In 1878, two men were working on the same invention in different parts of the world. Both had failed 98 times. Both were exhausted, broke, and being called crazy by everyone around them. On the 99th attempt, both failed again. One man looked at his burned-out prototype and said, "I'm done. This is impossible." The other man looked at his burned-out prototype and heard a quiet voice whisper, "Just one more try." That 100th attempt became the light bulb that illuminated the world. The first man's name was forgotten by history. The second man was Thomas Edison. The difference between breakthrough and breakdown isn't talent, luck, or resources. It's what happens in your brain in that critical moment when everything in you wants to quit, but something deeper whispers, "Not yet." Today, I'm going to show you the exact neurobiological mechanism that determines whether you become Edison or the forgotten inventor. And more importantly, how to hack that mechanism so you never stop one step short of your breakthrough again. Because right now, as you're reading this, you might be on attempt 99 of something that could change your entire life on attempt 100. Here's what most people don't understand about breakthroughs. They don't happen when you're feeling motivated and energized. They happen when you're depleted, when your rational mind is screaming that it's time to give up, when everyone around you thinks you've lost it. That's not coincidence. That's design. Your breakthrough lives on the other side of the moment when quitting makes the most logical sense. Think about every major breakthrough in human history. The Wright brothers were called delusional right up until they flew. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before he created the iPhone. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a phenomenon. In each case, there was a moment, a specific moment, when everything pointed toward giving up, when the logical choice was to stop. When the voice of reason said, "You've tried enough." But underneath that logical voice was another voice, quieter, deeper, more persistent. Just one more try. That voice isn't your ego trying to avoid failure. It's not your stubbornness refusing to face reality. It's something far more sophisticated. It's your unconscious mind detecting patterns that your conscious mind can't see yet. Let me tell you what neuroscientists have discovered about how breakthrough decisions get made in your brain. When you're working toward something challenging, your prefrontal cortex, the rational, logical part of your brain, is constantly calculating odds, measuring progress, and comparing current reality to desired outcomes. This part of your brain is excellent at recognizing when something isn't working and suggesting you cut your losses. But your unconscious mind, the vast network of neural processing that happens below your awareness, is detecting patterns in data that your conscious mind isn't even registering. It's seeing microscopic improvements, identifying tiny shifts in circumstances, recognizing when you're closer than you think. That quiet voice that says, "Just one more try," is your unconscious mind communicating crucial information that your conscious mind is missing. You're closer to breakthrough than your rational analysis can detect. Here's the problem. Most people have been trained to trust their logical mind over their intuitive knowing. They've been taught that persistence without obvious progress is foolishness. They have learned that smart people know when to quit. But breakthrough doesn't follow the rules of linear progress. It follows the rules of what scientists call phase transitions, sudden shifts from one state to another that happen after long periods of invisible preparation. Water doesn't gradually become steam. It's liquid at 99 degrees, liquid at 100 degrees. Then suddenly it's gas at 101 degrees. The change appears instant, but it required every single degree of heat that came before it. Your breakthrough works exactly the same way. All those failed attempts weren't failures. They were degrees of heat building toward the phase transition that will look like overnight success to everyone else. But here's where it gets fascinating. Your unconscious mind can sense when you're approaching that critical temperature, even when your conscious mind sees no evidence of progress. That's why the whisper comes precisely when logic says to quit. Your deeper intelligence is trying to override your surface analysis because it has access to information your rational mind doesn't. Think about a time in your life when you almost gave up on something but decided to try once more, and that final try led to your breakthrough. I guarantee there was a moment when logic said stop, but something deeper said continue. That something deeper saved your success. But here's what's tragic. For every story like Edison's, there are thousands of people who stopped at attempt 99. People who were one conversation away from their dream job but decided not to make that last call. People who were one chapter away from finishing the book that would have changed their life but decided to abandon it. People who were one day away from the breakthrough but chose to quit. The difference isn't talent. It's not luck. It's whether they learned to distinguish between the voice of wisdom that says, not yet, and the voice of fear that says, not possible. Technical moment. If what you're hearing right now resonates with you, hit subscribe. It shows that this information is valuable. Now, let me teach you how to recognize the difference between these two voices, because your future success depends on making this distinction correctly. The voice of fear-based quitting has specific characteristics. It's usually loud, urgent, and emotional. It uses words like never, impossible, and waste of time It points to past failures as evidence of future impossibility. It compares you to others and finds you lacking. Most importantly, it wants you to make the decision to quit immediately while you're in an emotional state. But the voice of wisdom-based persistence is completely different. It's quiet, calm, and knowing. It doesn't argue with the logical reasons to quit. It simply suggests one more attempt. It doesn't promise success or make grand claims. It just whispers, "Try again." And here's the crucial difference. The voice of wisdom feels like it's coming from your deepest self, while the voice of fear feels like it's coming from outside pressure, comparison, or conditioning. When you're truly meant to continue, that quiet voice will persist even after you've logically decided to quit. It will show up in moments of stillness. It will appear in your dreams. It will nudge you through synchronicities and unexpected encouragements from others. But when you're meant to redirect your energy elsewhere, the voice of quitting will feel like relief, like alignment, like coming home to yourself. There won't be that nagging sense that you're abandoning something important. Learning to distinguish between these voices is literally the skill that determines whether you become Edison or the forgotten inventor. Here's how to develop this skill. The next time you're facing a decision about whether to continue or quit something important, don't make the decision when you're emotionally activated. Step away from the situation. Get quiet. Let your nervous system settle. Then ask yourself, if I knew this next attempt would succeed, would I want it to? If the answer is yes, try again regardless of what logic says about the odds. If the answer is no, then your desire to quit might be wisdom redirecting you towards something more aligned. But here's what's remarkable about people who learn to trust this deeper voice. They stop having as many false starts because they become more selective about what they begin. But when they do commit to something, they have an almost supernatural ability to persist through the obstacles that stop everyone else. They've learned to interpret setbacks as setup, resistance as confirmation that they're moving toward something important, and the impulse to quit as a signal that breakthrough is near. Because here's what successful people know that others don't. The moments when you most want to quit are often the moments when you're closest to success. Think about it logically. If breakthrough was easy, everyone would achieve it. The fact that it requires you to continue when continuation seems impossible is what makes it rare and valuable. Your breakthrough is designed to test whether you want it more than you want comfort, more than you want the approval of people who don't understand your vision. more than you want to avoid the vulnerability of trying and potentially failing again. The quiet voice that whispers, "Just one more try," is life asking you, how badly do you actually want this thing you say you want? Most people discover they don't want it badly enough to be uncomfortable for it. But the few who do, those are the people who change the world, who create breakthrough innovations, who build extraordinary lives. Right now, you're probably in the middle of attempt number something on something that matters to you. Maybe it's a business you're trying to build, a skill you're trying to master, a relationship you're trying to repair, a creative project you're trying to complete, and maybe you're tired. Maybe the logical voice is getting louder, telling you it's time to be realistic, time to cut your losses, time to try something else. But if there's any part of you, even the quietest whisper, that's saying, "Not yet," then your unconscious mind is detecting something your conscious mind can't see. You might be closer than you think. You might be 1 degree away from the phase transition that changes everything. The person you're meant to become, the life you're meant to live, the contribution you're meant to make, it might all be waiting on the other side of one more try. Edison didn't succeed because he was smarter than the other inventor. He succeeded because when his rational mind said, "This is impossible," he trusted the deeper voice that said, "Not yet." That same voice is available to you. The question is, will you listen to it, or will you let the fear of one more failure stop you from discovering what's possible? Your breakthrough isn't late. It's not delayed. It's not being withheld from you. It's waiting for you to trust the whisper over the shout, the knowing over the analysis, the persistence over the logic. One more try might be the try that changes everything. If this message found you at exactly the moment you needed to hear it, write in the comments, "One more try." Write it as your commitment to trusting the voice that knows more than your fears do. The 100th attempt is always the one that looks impossible until it becomes inevitable. Nobody